Hi, my name is Brian Bond, and this is my Phase 1 presentation for Dr. Elder's entrepreneurship course. Specifically, this is a generalization of a business model for a product I'd like to see go to development. The method of presentation that I'm using is called Pecha-Kucha, which in short aids the speaker in delivering the necessary information in a timely manner through the use of visual imagery. For the business model I created, I followed a template called the business model canvas. This style, which was developed by Alexander Osterwalder, creates a very visual and easy to understand method of laying the foundation for a business. The canvas is separated into 9 sections, each of which is critical to the business operation, as is shown in the following picture. The central focus of the model is the value proposition, or what you hope to develop or deliver to the customer. The consumers are represented in the customer segment section and are reached through the use of customer relationships and distribution channels. The consumers are also the source of revenue that drives the model. On the other side of the model are all the key resources and costs necessary to keep the model afloat. Moving to my model specifically, the first item is my value proposition. I'm seeking to enhance the shooter's experience by providing a real-time display of ammunition levels within the weapon's magazine. For those of you who may not be familiar with firearms, a magazine is a container housed within or that can be removed from a weapon. This chamber houses the rounds that are then fired from the muzzle downstream. For those of you who've played video games, having a live loadout of ammunition levels is expected, but it's not this way in the real world, unfortunately. Currently, for the ammunition level to be checked, the magazine has to be dropped out of the weapon and visually inspected for fill indicators as shown by the image on the right. This takes time away from the user as well as removing their attention from the weapon and their surroundings. The next section of the canvas is a definition of my prospective customers. The strategic advantages of having a live readout of ammunition makes this an obvious asset to the armed forces, as they could then focus on the fight at hand instead of worrying about whether or not they're going to run out of ammunition. Additional customers would be gun enthusiasts across the country. Serving these two different needs generates what is called a segmented market. In order to reach my customers, distribution channels must be established. To reach our armed forces, a method similar to that of Colt or Bushmaster would be used. By partnering with military arms distributors such as these, or by going straight to military personnel themselves with a direct sales force, the goal of getting the item into the hands of the users has strong prospects. For reaching out to the everyday customer rather than the government, multiple venues can be utilized. Online shopping centers such as Impact Arms or Brownells can be used to reach buyers all across the globe. For more localized effect, outfitters such as Cabela's or possibly local gun stores can be used as an indirect sales force. In order to preserve a flow of sales, a positive relationship must be maintained with the customer. One effective means of this is through the use of excellent customer service. By keeping in contact with the consumer both before and after the sale, any necessary help can be given in both a professional and timely manner. Receiving feedback from the consumers can help to generate positive changes. Through the use of a community-style interaction, the specific wants and needs of the customers can be fully understood, and then solutions can be set into action. This feedback, while continuing to enhance the consumer's experience with the company and the merchandise, can help lead to additional product development that more specifically deals with the user needs. For all of this to work, however, there must be a steady flow of revenue from the consumer. For this model, the main source of income will be a standard asset sale, that is, the transferring of equipment to the consumer in exchange for a fee. An additional possibility does exist for a subscription fee for the receiving of updated hardware and firmware for the device without having to pay up front. Moving to the other side of the canvas, several key aspects of the model must be fulfilled for success to be an option. One of these is a listing of resources that needs to be allocated for the production of the device to take place. Financial resources play a major role, as the idea will never get off the drawing board without a level of capital backing it. Physical resources such as magazine components and electronics are key as well. Perhaps the dominant portion of the key resources section will be of the intellectual and human type. The primary design behind the product is important to keep track of, because if the ideas behind the mechanism are leaked, then there's really no point in trying to establish a company because your secret's out. Also, having enough people in the company to push design as well as manufacture and sell is a large component. For the key activities portion of the model, the two major actions come in the form of production and problem solving. On the production end of the spectrum, there must be a tangible product that can be sold in order for the asset sale to take place. That being said, designing, building, and delivering these items is of the highest importance. Considering the problem-solving side, if the military is going to be one of the major stakeholders, then their specific needs must be met. While the initial design may serve a broad range of purposes, different models may be necessary to meet their demand. Items such as RFID tags or GPS systems for strategic loadouts on the battlefield would not be necessary for the initial prototype, but could possibly be needed in the future. Continuing on, partnerships must be established for the success of the company. Establishing mutually beneficial contracts with magazine suppliers, ammunition manufacturers, electrical component distributors, advertising agencies, online retailers, and a storefront sales force are all must-haves for this endeavor to take flight. An often overlooked partnership is one established through a friendly challenge from a competing company. Unhindered competition breeds design improvements and innovations that benefit not only the companies developing the products, but also the consumers. Rather than having the market become stale with only a single design, my company would have to compete with others to stay on top of the game. The final aspect of the model is the cost structure behind the company. Specifically, the design in mind would favor a value-driven design rather than a cost-driven design. While the economics are always kept in mind, as something that's too expensive will never be purchased, the environment that this product will have to survive in means that only the highest quality design and components can be used. Because of my current localization on a single product line, the company would be utilizing economies of scale. By reducing the variable costs of production by mass producing some components, the fixed cost of the company could then be overcome and the potential for a profit presents itself. If the future were to hold for an additional product line, then economies of scope could be implemented. Well, that's a summarization of my business model canvas for my projected design. Hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming or drag on too long. Any feedback that you guys have is much appreciated, and I look forward to sharing information with you later.